Battle rap unfiltered, the hottest podcast that's around. Analytics different whenever we breaking it down. Who you had losing and who you think was taking around. A show for the culture, no other podcast making the sound. With expert opinions, we giving you the news you've been missing. Nobody does it like this, cause the talk is.
That battle is the battle that inspired Charlie Clips to do Guess What Room I'm In versus Serious Jones. Because in that battle, I did a living room scheme. And I did all the pieces in the room. I did like ottoman, chair, cushion, pillow. Like I did all the little things you'll find in like on a couch or in the living room. And I put it all into a scheme, right? And then like maybe 6 months later, you would hear Charlie Clips, Guess Which Room I'm In. And then he's doing the living room. He's doing the kitchen. He's doing the bathroom. Now he got that from me, man. That's from me.
You got that talk, yo?
That's my shit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I did that battle, and that battle went viral. That battle got the attention of, at the time, Street Star Norbs, Mickey Fax, John the Don, X Factor, a couple other people, and they all had kind of reached out to URL like, yo, y'all need to go get this kid. Like, he's different.
Fact.
And so Norbs had reached out to me, Street Star Norbs had reached out to me to pull up and do a tryout. I told him the same thing. Like, yo, I'm not a battle rapper, bro. Like, this is not what I do. I make music. I said, I got a league full of battle rappers if you're looking for talent. But I don't battle. He asked me 3 times. First time, I said no. Second time, I said no. Third time, I said, I'll think about it. And I end up having a studio session with Terminology and Slade, MC named Slade. And it was like, yo, you see that battle you did? That battle was crazy. When's your next battle? And I was like, I don't got nothing coming up, bro. I told them I don't even want, like, I'm not even trying to do that. And they looked and they both was like, yo, what are you thinking? Like, what's wrong with you? And I was like, what you mean? He was like, yo, he said, there's thousands of rappers in Boston that make music and are trying to be that guy. You're that guy in Boston battle rap right now.
And you're not trying to be that guy.
Exactly, right? And they're like, yo, you would be crazy to not pursue that. Like, to not see where that goes, because there's not 1,000 rappers in that lane that you got to compete with. If you got big leagues that have big promotional platforms that are willing to bring you on to showcase your talent, why would you turn that down to be a needle in a haystack making music? Right. Go do the battle shit, and then use that platform to promote your music. That's what you got to do. So I thought about it, and I was like, yo, they're right. Like it don't make no sense for me to turn down. At the time, this is when YouTube is getting popping, and so at the time it's like me turning down URL, which is doing like 200,000, 300,000, 400,000 views a battle, to just make music and get a few thousand views on my MySpace or on my. It was like,
yeah,
they right. You know what I'm saying? Like it makes sense for me to go about it a different way. So I called Norbs back, and I was like, I'm gonna do it. Let's figure it out.
Let me ask you this: is there? I feel like as a true battle rap fan, whatever hat you have, whether you're a blogger, fan, rapper, league owner, whatever, there's an addiction to battle rap. What do you feel like yours is? That love that just Pookie keep calling me, like, you know what I'm saying?
It's the writing. It's for me it's the writing. Like I've always said, for me the it's probably gonna sound strange, but for me the worst part of battle rap is battling.
I understand
it's
that.
battling. And when I say worse, I don't mean that it's bad, right? I don't mean that it's like it's a negative thing. Like I enjoy performing too. But the creative process when it comes to like when I think of some of the bars that I've come up with, like nail you Jay or follow you with the chopper like a high-speed chase, or like any of the shits that I've come up with, it'd be like the moments, like the light bulb when it's like, oh, that would be crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like that moment when you think of something and you like, oh, that's the one. That moment is very addictive, bro. And it's very addictive. And like that's what I love. Like even when it comes down to like, maybe battling somebody that's not a top tier name or not on a URL platform. Like even if I go to a different state or city and I'm battling somebody from there, or it's not a high profile opponent, it's the creation process of putting my rounds together for whatever battle it is that gets me going.
Yeah, kind of like this third round I'm watching right now against Klutz.
The minute they called me for Klutz, to be honest, the minute they called me for Klutz, I was like, I'm not really excited. And to be honest, I turned Klutz down twice. I turned Klutz down for final exams where I think he ended up battling Loso. And I turned Klutz down for the event after that where he ended up battling JC.
Oh, okay.
And the third time when they offered Klutz to me, I watched him in Loso. Then I watched him in JC. And I was like, okay. I do it now because I know how to beat him.
I know
that's fine.
I got enough information on him.
Yeah. I know how to beat him. I know what angle I'm gonna take. I know what he does well. I know what he doesn't do well. And so I have my strategy. I have my, you know what I'm saying, the way I wanted things to go. And the battle literally played out exactly the way I thought it would play out.
Yeah. That's crazy though. Because I'm sitting there watching, I did not see a car dealership scheme or that was just like I was blown away by that. I was like,
yo, when I came up with that, like when I watched specifically his third versus JC, and I wasn't even like looking for an angle, but I happened to be on Twitter. And one of his tweets was on my timeline, and it was a picture of him in like a windbreaker, and it was like, yo, I just got a job at a dealership. And I had just watched him and JC and heard him talk about how essentially how cars are traumatic for him.
Yeah.
Like how cars trigger him in a particular way, because of how he lost his loved one, right? And that instantly to me was like, I'm confused now. Are cars traumatic, or was that to win a battle?
Right.
Like which one was it? And like, I think a misconception of my third round versus Klutz is I feel like people think that I went in there with the intention of like being disrespectful of the dead, or like if you know me, if you follow my career, like
I was gonna say I didn't pick
that's
that
not
up.
that's not my
Yeah,
style.
I
You know what
didn't
I'm
pick
saying?
that up
Like
when I
I'm
heard
not
that
Arsenal. I'm not that guy that's gonna come in there and disrespect dead relatives and spit on people's graves and like that's so far away from Chilla Jones' brand.
Facts.
That for me it didn't even make sense for people to even think that. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But for me, I wanted to paint the picture, and I wanted to draw out the question: did you trick us all by making us think that this incident was so traumatic for you for the sake of an angle against JC, or do you really feel that way?
Yeah, you wanted to point out the contradiction.
Exactly. Like explain to us how like how you can then go and sell cars. Like literally of every like of all the jobs on earth, you picked a car dealership.
Yeah, he's so dramatic. Yeah, he's so.
Yo, like imagine I do a third round and I'm like, yo, I'm scared of heights. Right? Like something happened to somebody I love, and as a result, like anytime I go up on an elevator or on a cliff, I got an issue. And then y'all see me post something on Twitter and it say, I got a job as a skydiving instructor. Like, wouldn't y'all be like,
yeah. Right.
So for me, it was a contradiction. To me, it was like I more wanted to present this to the fans to make them say, yo, did he pull out our heartstrings to win versus JC? Or is he serious? And if he is serious, then how is he able to work at a car dealership if that experience was so traumatic for him? Right. And so, like, again, I didn't really understand why people were taking it as if I was disrespecting, you know, his passed away loved one or anything. It definitely wasn't my intention. I called him personally to make sure he understood that, but then I also publicly on Twitter made it clear that wasn't my intention. But I didn't even feel like I needed to do all that because I felt like I had presented it well enough for anybody that was actually listening to understand that, right? But like narratives get painted, people want to feel the way they feel, and I understand that in this day and age that's going to happen. But but I love that round versus Klutz, and I thought it was really well written. I thought it was masterful. I thought it was surgical, and so I was a little annoyed. Like, yo, how are y'all not getting this? How are y'all not getting this?
You know what I mean? But that actually brings us into one of our next topics that you're scheming. Like it's actually you actually brought that into from me being a battle rap historian, you actually brought that into battle rap and made it an attribute. How did you create that writing process? And then how did you know that would, because battle rap is more like punchlines, they want the excitement, how did you know that would work in battle rap after you created that style of writing?
Well, I don't know that I didn't really know how it would translate. I knew that there were other people doing similar things. Mook had done some similar stuff. Iron Solomon had done similar stuff. Quantum Physics had done similar stuff. But nobody had made it like a staple of their style, right? Like people might do a scheme here and there in between a whole bunch of punches, but nobody was scheming 4, 5, 6 times around, and like nobody had built their style off scheming the way that I did when I came in. I think part of what made it successful to me was the fact that I was different and the fact that I stood out, because at that time you had, especially when you look at URL, B Magic, Puncher, You had Rosenberg Raw, who was more of like a bully. You had Clean Paper, who was like very charismatic, and people just love his energy and the way he performs. You had JC, who's kind of like another pin guy, puncher. You had Bill Collector, electrifying performer. You had John, who's like strategic, another puncher, but you didn't have anybody in that class.
You are making so much sense right now. Keep going.
Right?
Good Lord.
You didn't have anybody in that URL class that was that sounded like me, or that was like a different type of wordplay type of guy, right? Mm-hmm. And so in my class, it was myself, it was Danger Zone, who was similar to me in style, it was Big K, who was a puncher, and it was Ill Will. Like us four, we were all performing on the same PG cards, on the same up and comer events. Like when Ill Will battled Johnny Alcatraz is when I battled JC. The event before that, Big K battled 7:30. Danger had battled I don't remember who Danger Zone battled on that card. But the four of us were like the top of our class. You know what I'm saying? Like and there was like Johnny Alcatraz, and there was like Just Juice from St. Louis, and Cash Eaton, and some other people as well. But like us four were kind of like the top of the class. And so I think a lot of my success had to do with the fact that like I didn't sound like nobody else, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, and I think even now to this day, when you have an original sound and you kind of stand out away from everybody else, it's really easy to make your own lane. It's really easy to build your brand and to create a market for yourself. But it's when you have a style that people have heard before, it's really difficult to break through, bro. It's really difficult to like prove that you're different than the other 100 people that sound exactly like you. Mm-hmm. So when people go to URL and they think they're gonna make it off the strength of being a great puncher, it's like if you ain't Rum Nitty and you ain't Av, the only other puncher to make it anywhere near top tier is Fonz. He's the only other puncher to make it anywhere near top tier in the last probably like 5 years.
That's a fact.
There's been a lot of punchers. The Nuns have been there. Like, there's been a lot of punchers in URL. But, like, if you're going to be a puncher in URL, you got to be special. And that's because there's so many other people that punch. You got to either have something else that you do, or you got to be special with the way that you punch.
There's no competition. I think it's time you tune in and listen to the views and predictions. John Jones, we came here to kick it. We just a show on the rise. Definitely top 5. And before you leave, you better like, comment, subscribe. Battle Rap Unfiltered.